Hello everyone, Ross here from Warrior Trading. Today we're going to step out of my office and step into my garden. In fact, this is my sanctuary, and it's where I get some of my best thinking done. It's also where I think of some of my greatest ideas. This right here is a cherry tomato plant that I started in the early spring. This is a small pumpkin. This here is a squash, and this here is a zucchini. This beautiful specimen has grown to 4.5 feet tall, but in fact it's just one of 50, and they'll produce more cherry tomatoes than I know what to do with. So I've been giving them to friends and family, and I've been canning them for the winter, because I'm sure it'll be a long one. To make the most use of space around the base of each of these plants, I've started herbs, including basil, thyme, and even some oregano. The oregano smells so fresh, it's beautiful. I come out here after the market closes and on the weekends to let go of some of my stress and to get in touch with nature, which I think is something we could all use. I'm also here because this is one step towards creating a lifestyle of self-sufficiency. It's something we talk about extensively in our trading courses, and it's why we've decided to launch this new segment called Gardening with Ross. As you know, there are many steps towards a path to financial freedom. Gardening is just one of them. Other topics we'll discuss later on: changing your own oil, painting your house, and cutting your own grass. I hope you guys will stay tuned, and please enjoy this new video called Gardening with Ross. Alright, so I want to talk to you guys for a few minutes. Obviously, we're out here in my garden, and for me, gardening is something that I've always really enjoyed doing. I guess I have a little bit of a green thumb. I've got some really nice looking tomatoes here, some great zucchini and squash and stuff like that. When I was learning how to trade several years ago, I was in a situation where I was really tight on money. And so the idea of gardening at that time was to grow food and to help reduce my cost of living. How hard is it to plant some seeds in the dirt and then, come back a few months later and pick your produce? Realistically, it only takes a little bit of time each day to come out, tend the garden, pick some weeds, water it. Next thing you know, you're coming to the end of the growing season, and, I've got all these beautiful tomatoes. I'm making tomato sauce and salsa and, putting things in the freezer, canning them, and I'll have them for the winter. When you think about the cost of buying like an heirloom tomato, like a really good one at the grocery store, they're like $5-6 a pound. And sometimes one tomato is a pound. So a nice heirloom tomato plant that produces, 15 or 20 tomatoes, you're getting like $100 of tomatoes off of one plant. I have 50 plants in this garden right now. Cherry tomato plants, heirloom tomatoes, these tomatoes for tomato sauce, stuff like that. And these are, they'll certainly save me some money. As a young trader, when I was first learning, saving money was really important. I needed to keep my cost of living as low as possible because the learning curve to start trading, the first 3 months you should be paper trading a simulator only, so you're not making money. That's okay, it's part of education. It's like you're in school. And then the next 3 months you segue and transition into trading with real money, but you're trading with small size, slowly increasing your risk. So by the time you're starting to make money 6 months in, right around there, then that's great. But what were you doing for income the first 6 months? And for me, for someone that it just seemed to take longer, 18 months, I really didn't have any income for that whole period of time. So, of course, meanwhile, I was spending $100 a month on, stuff like trade ideas and Benzinga and TC2000, e-signal. So money was going out, but it wasn't coming in. Anything I could do to reduce my cost of living, I did. I had a wood stove. I didn't use oil heat at all. I had just wood, and of course I have several acres, so I was cutting down trees during the summer, chopping them up and burning them in the winter. It was a pain, but it saved me money. That was for me part of the whole cost of learning how to trade and learning the hard way, right? 18 months of trial and error, 18 months of living with credit card debt and not making a lot of money. So a garden is one opportunity to kind of live a more self-sufficient lifestyle. being from Vermont, I think I've always sort of gravitated and naturally admired that homesteading type of mentality. That's not for everybody, and I'm not living it really too much right now. But of course, I have my garden, and these are things that I enjoy doing. And there are aspects of that lifestyle that I think are good, especially when you're on a budget. And anyone that's changing careers, if you're going to change careers and learn how to start day trading, you're at a point in your life transition where having reduced overhead is definitely going to be helpful. So, a good can of tomato sauce is like $6, $8. If I can make 15, 20 cans, that right there is going to get me through the winter. I mean, right now it's just, to me, something I can do, and I like the taste and it's good, and I can give that to friends and family, and it's a fun hobby. And the other side of all of this is the fact that it is really important to have outlets to get your mind off of trading, because you need to study, you need to work, and you need to focus, but you also need to let all that stuff just rest. Like, let it marinate, let it kind of simmer on the back burner while you do other stuff. And next thing you know, you're doing something else, and something that was happening on the back burner starts to really develop. When you're constantly focused, you just don't always get a chance to step back and sort of see the bigger picture. And it's something you really need to be able to do as you're learning to do anything, I suppose, but definitely as you're learning to trade. So that's kind of the side benefit of gardening. And maybe right now for me, that's a bigger benefit than the monetary benefit, because I've, achieved enough success that I don't need to garden to save money. Now I just do it because I enjoy it. And I hope that you guys, you think about doing stuff like this. As I mentioned, there's a lot of things that you can do to save money. When I was, in that period of learning how to trade, cutting my own firewood, changing the oil in my car, I painted my house. Every summer I would paint one side of my house. That was kind of my thing. And that way, by the fourth year, I'd gotten all the way around, and I could start on the other side. And I've kind of gotten to the phase where I'll paint two sides, just kind of like get it done, and then take a year off and then paint two sides. But that's stuff that saves me probably $7,000 to $10,000 every few years when you need your house repainted, right? As a beginner trader, or even as a young fella, that's a good savings, and it was worth it at the time. Now maybe my time's more valuable, but I actually kind of enjoy painting. It's relaxing, and it's one of those things that gets my mind off trading. It's just sort of meditative, and so I actually I'll probably do it again next summer. This summer I only had to do touch up, it was kind of nice, but there is something really enjoyable about being out there on a summer day and just kind of painting and listening to some music and doing your thing. So today I really just sort of wanted to bring you guys into my garden and show you one of the things that I do on the weekend, just to unwind a little bit, and also talk about the benefit of having a garden and growing your own vegetables. They taste great. It's these are all organic and it's all natural. There's just so many benefits to it. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and if you have any other questions, feel free to email me, ross@warriortrading.com.